Rafa Nadal has revealed his pick for the Australian Open final between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. All tennis fans have been glued to their televisions for days watching the semifinals of the 2026 Australian Open, with several matches proving extremely intense. Both semifinals went to 5 sets, and Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic emerged victorious. Today, they will face each other in a final that promises to be magnificent in Melbourne, a high-level clash in which the winner will make history. And it has been another great figure of the sport, Rafa Nadal, 39, who wanted to send a message to his Spanish compatriot just hours before this important moment. Nadal and his message to Alcaraz. Speaking to the international press in front of the Margaret Court Arena, Nadal said he had greatly enjoyed the most recent match, in which Djokovic defeated Sinner. He also wanted to comment on something Alcaraz expressed recently, recalling when in 2009 Nadal himself played a grueling semifinal at the same venue against Fernando Verdasco, before lifting his first title just 2 days later. Everyone follows their own path, and it's clear that at that time he was very young and not aware of anything, Rafa explained to the press, remembering that Alcaraz was just a child back then. But when you are a child and you grow up watching what others do, in some way you can be inspired and develop a passion for what you have seen. And that's something that happened to me and could also happen to Carlos, Nadal said, fully aware that Alcaraz could emerge victorious in Sunday's final. I'm sure Carlos will recover, even though it was a long battle. The other semifinal wasn't short either, and I think he has a better chance of recovering than Novak Djokovic. Nadal's choice of winner. When asked who he thought should win, the Spaniard had no doubts and chose the new star of Spanish tennis, while also offering kind words for the Serbian. With Djokovic we had an incredible history, all those years competing for the most important things, and I wish him all the best, he explained. But of course, Carlos is from my country, I have a good relationship with him. We shared the Olympic Games together, we shared the Spanish team, making it clear that his heart is with Alcaraz. If Novak wins, I'll be happy for him because what he's doing at this stage of his career is spectacular. So I'll be fine, it won't be a drama for me. But if I have to support someone, I feel I should support Carlos, he concluded. And whoever wins, tomorrow we will witness history in this sport. As explained by eldiario.es, if the Serbian lifts the trophy, he will become the oldest Grand Slam champion at 38 years old. If the Spaniard wins, he will be the youngest player in history to complete the 4 Grand Slams, at just 22 years of age. The most intense tennis final. Regarding what will happen tomorrow and how they are approaching it, the outlet collected statements from both protagonists. Djokovic said that history is at stake for both of us every time we play, agreeing with Nadal about Alcaraz's physical advantage due to his younger age. My preparation is appropriate, and I beat him here last year as well, also in a very demanding match. Let's see how fresh we can both be. He also had a great match, but he's 15 or 16 years younger than me. Biologically, I think it will be a bit easier for him to recover. I'll think about the final later, but for me, this victory is almost like winning a Grand Slam. Carlos's last match against Alexander Zverev was one of the toughest of his career, something he himself explained afterward. It has been one of the most demanding matches of my life. Physically I reached my limit, but I'm very proud because I believed the whole time, he said. When I was a teenager, there were matches where I didn't fight, I gave up, and then I would spend days thinking I could have done more. That thought killed me. That's why now I never want to give up. I know every second of fighting is worth it and that it's important to be proud of myself the next day. The resurrection of Alcaraz. One of the key moments came when Alcaraz received medical assistance. At that moment, the player from Murcia did not hesitate and took a jar out of his bag that turned out to be pickled juice, a natural remedy that combats cramps thanks to its vinegar content and activates receptors in the digestive system. These receptors send signals to the central nervous system that temporarily inhibit the neuron that contracts the muscle. The strength of the flavor allows the nervous signal that causes the cramp to reset. This is a remedy that Carlos Alcaraz has used on other occasions and began incorporating after a bad experience in the semifinals of Roland Garros 2023. He faced Novak Djokovic there as the clear favorite, but nerves got the better of him and his body shut down to the point that he finished the match barely moving. Since then, he has practically avoided cramps, and one of the main reasons is this pickled juice. This remedy is combined with the mental factor and everything his team works on with him in this area. It was demonstrated in the semifinals against Zverev, when Carlos even considered retiring. Samu Lopez and the rest of his box convinced him that the pickled juice and the rest of the medication would eventually take effect and that he could finish the match at 100%, which ultimately happened. In professional sports, cramps are often caused not only by physical factors but also by mental ones. That's why his entire team worked hard to lift his spirits so that he could secure a memorable victory in what was the third longest match in the history of the Australian Open. Can a semifinal feel like winning a Grand Slam? For Novak Djokovic, the answer is yes. After defeating Jannik Sinner in 5 sets at the Australian Open, the Serbian not only advanced to the final, he experienced one of the most emotional and significant victories of his recent career. In the press conference, Djokovic analyzed every aspect of his performance and made it clear that his ambition remains intact. We review his most important statements, including comments on his form, strategy, and expectations for the final against Alcaraz. Djokovic was straightforward. For me, this victory almost equals winning a Grand Slam. Although he does not place it as the best of his entire career, he does rank it as one of the best of the past decade. The context justifies it. Semifinals, against Sinner, a 2-time defending champion in great form. According to Novak, you couldn't ask for more. He acknowledged that his goal for this season was to compete head-to-head with Alcaraz and Sinner in the final stages of Grand Slams. That's why he values this victory so highly. He said that when planning his season, he imagined these kinds of matchups. Now, having experienced it so early in the year, in the first Grand Slam, gives him confidence. He also referred to the physical challenge of the match. It was physically very demanding and exhausting. I feel very proud, very happy, and also very relieved. The challenge wasn't just tactical, it was a battle of endurance, and Djokovic, at 38 years old, once again prevailed in a domain where few can hold on. Regarding his mental preparation, he was honest, it's harder to motivate myself. Still, he made it clear that he continues competing to reach Grand Slam finals, and that keeps him sharp. He said that seeking the highest level in these tournaments is what gives meaning to his current career. The match was a roller coaster, but he stayed firm. He attributed much of his success to having a clear plan. I went out with great clarity, with a clear strategy and a well-defined game plan. He noted that it's easy to say, but difficult to do against someone like Sinner, which gives even more value to his execution. He also recalled his poor match against Musetti and how he managed to recover. I know what I'm capable of. He admitted that in Grand Slams there are bad days, and that was one of them. However, he knew how to turn the page, adjust, and return to the level that defines him, showing that his experience remains a key advantage. Djokovic did not hesitate to repeat that his victory over Sinner ranks among the best of the past 10 years. I place it as the best of the last years and, without a doubt, as one of the best performances of the last decade. A statement that reflects how special that match was for him, both in terms of level and context. As for what comes next, he prefers to take it step by step. I don't know how I'm going to recover. We'll see. It's almost 3 a.m. He confirmed that he will not train the next day and will dedicate every hour to recovering energy. He knows he needs to arrive as fresh as possible for the final against Alcaraz, a younger rival in excellent form. He also analyzed the duel against Carlos Alcaraz. He said that they always play with history on the line and that a Grand Slam final against him is a special scenario. Although he recognizes that physical recovery will be more difficult for him, he also stated that he is motivated and prepared for that type of challenge. He valued what this new clash represents. I play tennis competitively mainly to reach Grand Slam finals. Here I am, so I can't complain about anything. Djokovic neither victimizes himself nor looks for excuses, he simply celebrates being where he wanted to be. He recalled that last year he had already beaten Alcaraz in Australia and that this final will be another intense battle. He insists that although every match is different, his preparation and mindset do not change. He is ready to compete at the highest level once again, and that is what keeps him active on tour. He closes his statements by reaffirming the emotional importance of what he experienced. Right now I'm just trying to enjoy the moment I'm living tonight. For Djokovic, winning these types of matches not only adds titles, but reaffirms why he continues to play, for nights like this, for challenges like this. Novak Djokovic made it clear that his victory over Sinner was not just another step toward the final, it was one of his most significant performances of recent years. He valued the quality of his opponent, the physical effort, and the tactical precision with which he played, as well as the emotional context of returning to a Grand Slam final. At 38 years old, he remains motivated to compete at the highest level and to measure himself against the best. For him, winning matches like this is the reason he is still among the elite. And with the final against Alcaraz on the horizon, his ambition and determination are more alive than ever.